Welcome to the Fantasy Q&A show. Oh, that's right. I'm still a part of the show from time to time. Managed to come on here. Brian McFadden here, co-founder of Legit Football, joined as always by the stars of the show, Rich Jodice, the pro football demon, and the Unabomber, Kevin Phillip Fox.
Don't say my name. Nobody knows I'm here.
He doesn't. It's that Buffalo Bills loss.
I'm somebody else's cousin.
You've still got a giant blue hoodie and Bills hat. You can't hide and then be sporting all of your Bills gear at the same time.
What Bills hat? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we might have avoided the topic, but now I feel like we have to just jump right at the topic.
I don't know if we would have, man. Did you see the chat?
Oh, I'm seeing all sorts of things coming up.
I don't know.
I'm trying to highlight the questions for the
Q&A. Happened.
Yeah, I love what happened. That's one of my favorite TikTokers. What's up, Rhett? What's up? Hey, long season, guys. Let's hang in there.
Hey, it's okay. They've got Joe Brady now.
Hey,
nothing spells comfort like Joe Brady calling plays. I don't know. I'm trying.
I like it. No,
just
I appreciate
in time
it.
for the Jets game, so that'll probably work out well for you.
That's right. Now we got a little Jets Bills action going on here.
Yeah.
I don't think either of you guys are feeling great about it.
I don't feel great about this team whatsoever. One side of the ball, I don't feel great about.
Yeah. All right. So you guys know how we do it. This is the Fantasy Q&A show. Any questions you have, start, sit, trade advice, rankings, or if you just want to comment on my paleness, Kevin's Bills fandom, or Rich's evil takes with Jordan Love, it's all for a game. We're on a Thursday night. We're going to go right up until Thursday Night Football as long as we have questions to answer. Boys, are you ready to get started tonight?
Always.
All right. Let's start with Mr. Squishy 79. Quick note, there is no Anthony tonight. I'm running the chat, so...
it's going to get... this is exciting. All right,
as always, use the super chat on Pro Football Demons channel if you want to guarantee that your question gets answered. Is even more important tonight because I'm hosting, moderating, and trying to make sure the questions get answered. Mr. _Squishy 79, trade Kyler. Got Kyler questions again. That's kind of fun. And Pollard for Pacheco. He only has Watson at quarterback. And then there's a secondary question. Trade Dak and McLaurin for Dell and Rashad White. So let's tackle these separately. Rich, we'll start with you. So Kyler Murray and Tony Pollard for just Isaiah Pacheco.
I'm not doing that. I think Kyler Murray could be I want to say league winner. I mean, it depends on what type of league you're in, if you're in a super flex or not. But I think Kyler Murray is going to have a nice run here. I'm not crazy about Pollard. If you can pick up Rico Dowdle, if nobody has him, I would do that. But I don't think you're getting enough value back with Pacheco. What do you say, Trill?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Demon here. Kyler himself is probably not worth this trade. Pollard is just a difficult conversation. Everybody wants to pivot off Pollard. I totally understand. But you could probably still capitalize more on the name value than just Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe a 1-for-1 deal. I'd think about that trade because Pacheco could be interesting rest of season. But throw Kyler in there and it becomes you lose the trade pretty handedly, in my opinion.
So first of all, you said you'd think about it. If somebody's offering me Pacheco and I give away Pollard, I'm smashing that right now.
Oh, you'd take it right away.
Pollard for Pacheco, yeah.
You would take Pollard right away. Okay.
No, I would take Pacheco.
Okay. Interesting.
Dish Pollard. At this point in the season, you have to learn to let go of name recognition.
Yeah.
I was high on Pollard. He was one of my core running backs for one of my dynasty leagues. I traded him away a few weeks ago because I saw the writing on the wall. For whatever reason, maybe it's injury, maybe it's him. He really can't be the main guy. He could be another Lamar Miller. Like once you give him the full responsibilities, for whatever reason, he starts sucking. You can't say it's the Cowboys offense anymore because Rico Dowdle went in there and went off against the Giants.
That is the reason why last week I said Pollard was probably a buy. But once I saw that happen with Dowdle, you have to just keep feeding the hot hand. So that just soured me to Pollard.
So we're currently in a position where Pollard is where for us rest of season. If we're trading him straight up for Pacheco, how low does that go? Who wouldn't you trade him for? Is there like a line? Is there like a Tony Pollard line that we can draw in the running back rankings?
At this moment, he's still getting enough volume to at least be an RB2. But we're talking about Tony Pollard. He was RB, 6 or 7 last year? And now we're like, okay, maybe he's RB 20.
Right.
That's a big difference.
Okay. So can we, I'm just trying to find a name.
Taking Jalen Warren over him.
Jalen Warren would take over Pollard. Is that true for you too, McFadden?
Yeah,
that's a little dicey.
I think so. It's not a slam dunk like as much as Pacheco, because Pacheco gets so much of the rushing work in Kansas City. Whereas, hey, Warren has looked great, but Harris is still involved in that offense. They're still giving him a lot of work. So there's a lack of opportunity, but I probably would still take Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
What about Rashad White, Brian? I want to hear you say it.
PPR is so much volume. He's not a great runner. That hasn't changed.
Oh, but Brian's analytics are coming into play.
Oh, here we go. Brian's charts. Brian's charts.
It's he's like 24. He's not old.
So funny.
But I don't care who you are. It was the same argument with Kyron Williams until really towards right before he got injured. He wasn't efficient, but it didn't matter if he's getting the ball 25, 30 times a game.
Yeah.
In this case, if they're throwing him the ball 8 to 9 times a game, I don't care how accurate you are. He can catch 8 catches for 8 yards and get me 8.8 points in a full PPR.
Right.
That's a nice floor for a running back. So I don't like White in general. I don't know that I'd like him in Dynasty, but he's a top 10 running back at this point in redraft.
He's 8. He's number 8 right now.
That's
number
crazy.
8. Yeah. That's volume. Yeah. You know, that's
it's
one
volume, but the Bucs offensive line is terrible. So I'm just going to say that. But we can go on to the next part of this question.
All right. So the last comment on Kyler, unless you have a stud quarterback that you're not going to put Kyler in for, I'm with these guys. Like Kyler could be a league winner. He looked spry running around with his tiny little legs. He did not look like he needed ramp up period. So I'm all in on Kyler. If you need an upgrade and you have Mahomes at quarterback, fine, trade him. But otherwise, no, that's too much. Let's start with you on this one, Kev. Trade Dak Prescott and Terry McLaurin for my boy Tank Dell and the aforementioned Rashad White.
Yeah, it's a similar conversation. We do need to know what we're working with at QB here for Squishy. If this is the same team and he has Kyler and Dak, it's kind of a win-win situation. Dak's been one of the hottest QBs in fantasy football as of late. So I don't hate riding him until the wheels fall off, but Kyler's got that rushing upside. Arizona's offense could go on a little bit of a run here to end the season. So I think you're kind of looking at it. Let's look at it a little more, for the ancillary pieces. McLaurin is a little hit and miss, but he's had some good boom games this year. He's had some stretches of consistent play this year. And then Tank Dell is just, he's been playing lights out, especially lately. Insane boom games and a nice cozy floor we're finding lately. It didn't seem like it early in the year that we'd find the Tank Dell floor, but his floor is comfortable.
His last 2 games, he's had 13 plus targets. That's a very nice looking floor, and he has big upside too.
100%. So I do think, given the scarcity of good running backs, because you're not giving any and you're getting one, and we've learned Rashad White is the RB8, Tank Dell has all the potential in the world, and you probably already have Kyler Murray, I would indeed trade Dak and McLaurin for Dell and White myself.
Yeah, I would do the same. I especially if this is the same team where you have Kyler Murray, I would absolutely do that. You're just making your team better. You can probably you're upgrading running back over Tony Pollard with Rashad White. Tank Dell, as Kev said, everything you needed to say. I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions queued up, so I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next one. SGSHR 123 says pick 3, Rich: Jerome Ford, Isaiah Pacheco, James Conner, Devon Achane.
All right. Well, let's wish SG luck tonight. He is a Baltimore Ravens fan. And
I did pick Cincy. Just throwing that out there. I think it's going to be a good game. I picked the Bengals for the upset on the road.
My pick will be revealed during my live stream tonight. Right. But I don't know if Devon Achane's playing.
All signs are that he is. That they haven't said it, but it's looking like he will be active this weekend.
He will be active. Okay. Now here's my issue with a running back that is this small, a guy who's 190 pounds. His first week back, I don't know that I trust it. I don't know what type of volume he's going to see. It's solely that's the sole reason why I would go with those other 3 guys.
He may be 190 pounds, but if nobody can touch him, then it doesn't matter.
Nobody can. You're a Dolphins fan. So, Kevin, let's talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I'm the only one of the 3 of us that is not too sour about their team right now. So I'm going to ride this as long as I can.
Yeah.
Beat a winning team.
So sour. There you go.
So did you pick your 3? Is that who you're keeping on?
Yeah, I'm taking out Achane just for that reason.
By the way, notice I completely ignored the beat a winning team.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing. One thing I'll say is if you want to go for the home run shot, Achane is clearly the guy there, and then I would probably remove. Take your pick. I would. If it's me, I would probably remove Pacheco. I think over Achane. So,
yeah, it's tough because I think so. Achane has a great matchup. They're playing the Raiders. I guess maybe with Antonio Pierce, they might be surging. I'm not 100% sure that that's not just a product of who they played. But we'll see. I think the Dolphins should probably handle them pretty good, and I think Achane should be a part of the game script there.
Their talent is still their talent or lack thereof. Yes, I love the Pierce bump, but that can only last so far.
Yeah.
One thing we know about the Dolphins, they beat up on lesser talented teams. So.
And we do know that that's the case for the Raiders. Respectfully, AOC just presents some limitations. Connor, they're playing the Texans. It has been a narrative for a long time that you can run all over the Texans. Hasn't exactly materialized that way this year. The numbers are kind of skewing it a little more towards the middle. It's something that is, sort of a narrative street thing. But Pacheco, the Chiefs are playing the Eagles, who, they have been kind of Jekyll and Hyde on defense this year. I think stopping the run has been a strength, but they've been susceptible to the pass. So, there's not a ton of love here. We all know the Browns, your way to beat the Steelers is to throw. They have a terrible secondary. So, honestly, yeah, I'm probably going to take Ford out. I don't think I like that.
The reason I picked Ford is because they're going to have to run. We don't know if this guy can throw.
Yeah, but that's also, but that's,
the Ravens have a good defense on both sides.
Yeah, Steelers. Yeah, and they can sell out to stop the run.
The Browns are playing the Steelers.
They can sell out to stop the run. So, because DTR's first start was not great. So, there's definitely some red flags on Ford. So I'll say sit Ford.
Yeah, what about Pacheco when the weakness in that Eagles secondary or Eagles defense is their secondary? They actually have one of the worst secondaries in the league this year, even though they're at least their corners are essentially the same. I said earlier, I like Pacheco at least over Pollard, and I'm not a huge Jerome Ford fan, but he's the one I believe in the least here. Achane, there's so much upside. I don't care that he's coming back. All he needs is one 60-yard run, and he's worth it. James Conner is the most slam dunk pick in here, especially with Kyler back. I think his value is only going to go up.
Definitely.
So I'm going to lean sitting Pacheco. I would go Ford, Conner, and Achane.
Yeah, I'm sitting Ford, but it's tight.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would say between Pacheco and Ford, it's razor thin. Our boy J Dragon 91 at Flex. Should I start Isaiah Pacheco? He keeps coming up. A lot of people. He's not a slam dunk. He's like he gets his volume, but he's not explosive. Should I start Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, or Darrell Henderson? We'll start with you, Rich.
Man, you sure you don't want to start with Kevin?
Let's start with Kevin.
I got you. I'm prepared for this. I've been doing some Rashee Rice research. The numbers came up good.
Say that 3 times fast. Rashee Rice research.
I did actually. I nailed it. I'm surprised.
You did nail it. Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of research, and the numbers are coming up good on him. Matt Harmon's reception perception mid-season rookie report is very favorable on Rice. So, and he's the only receiver there that really has any sort of steam, in my opinion. So, the fact that you have to sit Pacheco is good because the Eagles are good at stopping the run. Rice is probably where they'll pick on him. But the Rams are playing the Seahawks, and believe it or not, the Seahawks, who were supposed to have this surging offense, and Geno Smith was supposed to be this, big, expensive, big money QB. I feel like the Seahawks defense is what's really been making their hay this year. So I like Darrell Henderson. I made him the number 1 waiver pickup this week, where Brian didn't even have him on the list.
Wasn't even on my top.
And then
10.
Brian went and bought him for Fab. You freaking guy.
I need running backs. I didn't say I wouldn't take him.
I didn't put in a big.
I'm not going to start him. I just my depth is thin, especially at running back. Why not throw a guy on there? I haven't used Fab all year.
I think Rice. Me and Demon have been sort of making this a trend in recent weeks, Brian. So I'll fill you in. I have this new lineup hack. If you're favored to win, you go with the safer play, which I think is Henderson here. And if you're favored to lose, you inject that volatility in your lineup. You swing for the fences with Rice.
Chase ceiling if you need to, and go floor if you're comfortable ahead.
Yep.
I like that. Not bad.
I agree with that. I would probably go Henderson for the safer play, but if you want that upside play, Rashee Rice, you never know. Could have that big 2 touchdown game all of a sudden. You never know.
Right.
So 4 words for you guys. I had to think in my head. It's actually 4 words. Andy Reid on bye. And if there's one place to attack the Eagles, it's that secondary. And not that he is a Tyreek Hill, but he is the number 1 receiver at this point in Kansas City, and that's Rashee Rice. So I think he actually has the decent floor and the best ceiling out of the bunch. So to me, it's a fairly easy choice to go with Rashee Rice. We mentioned earlier Pacheco going with the Eagles defense. I don't think he'll have the same kind of upside as anyone in the passing game. It could be a big Kelsey game as well. Darrell Henderson, I told you on the waiver wire show, Kev, this is a guy that his own team didn't want to sign him when he was on the streets until they had no other choice.
Not too inspired.
He's going to need to get in the end zone, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he won't get volume, but he's going to need to get in the end zone to return, whereas Rashee Rice, especially in PPR, is going to get, I would say, anywhere between 6 to 8 targets at least. Jade has a few questions in a row in another league at Flex. Should I start Brandon Cooks, who, by the way, finally, nice to know Brandon Cooks is still on the Cowboys after all the offseason hype. Noah Brown, who is injured and trending towards not being active, or Tyler Boyd dropping that big touchdown that lost the game to the Texans. Kevin, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so this one's tough because Boyd plays the Ravens. You know, they are pretty darn good on defense across the board.
Higgins again.
Yeah, that helps. They get a little bit of a spike there. But honestly, if Noah Brown doesn't play, that will be gut-wrenching given what we've seen him do lately. It is so fun, the chemistry him and CJ Stroud have. I would absolutely be devastated if we didn't have Noah Brown this week, but I think I would go with probably Tyler Boyd. I love the Thursday night bump. I love getting to watch my players on Thursday night and having a little bit more information in advance. I do really love that. So I'd probably go with Tyler Boyd, but Cooks, I mean, Carolina's pretty good against the pass. So, I don't really know if that's, and I think it could be a boat racing. So I guess it was a boat racing last week and he still got a lot of points, but I don't think lightning will strike twice there. I'll go with Boyd.
For me, it's Noah Brown. If he's not playing, then I'm going Brandon Cooks. And even if it is a boat racing, I said this last week, Kev, I think the Cowboys just want to dominate and put up a lot of points however they can. They're having trouble struggling running the ball. So it would be Brandon Cooks pretty easily for me there.
I'm actually curious to see this particular matchup. So we know the Panthers are bad, but they're actually a top 10 pass defense and one of, if not the worst run defenses in the league against a Cowboys team that you mentioned, Rich, has had trouble running the ball. Yeah. So is this finally the Pollard game, or does Dowdle have a big game? So I'm a little iffy on Cooks, who has done nothing all year until he played a dreadful Giants team with absolutely no motivation or will to live at this point. Noah Brown was probably my pick, but I think he's trending towards not playing. So I'm going to have to go with Tyler Boyd as well. Boyd always kills Baltimore.
There you go.
Which one of you is clicking the questions?
I did that. Fair enough. I just wanted to get his comment up there.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's nice to have some Facebook comments. I'm glad that you did that, Rich.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, here's a question just for Kev.
Uh-oh.
Did Barbie leave with Ken Dorsey?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, he's going to hide it.
I don't know who that is.
Once the sunglasses go on.
Hey, we're winning. We're winning the Super Bowl. Buffalo every year.
All right, try to beat the Jets first. Let's have a one game at a time here. Let's not talk.
It's going to be a pickathon. 7 combined interceptions.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think the over-under is in the 30s, I think, like 39. But maybe I might be slamming the under on that.
39 picks?
Under all day.
If it's Josh Allen, take the over. We've learned.
Takedo Luna, shout out to Jimmy Ray and Adrian, regulars on the Legit Football NFL pod. Just had to put that in there. Number one, because it's always nice to put Takedo in the chat. And number two, Jimmy and Adrian always deserve some love.
The goats.
Always. Also both in our Legit Football Dynasty League. So we're all one big family here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sean Simino, trade Monty and a late first for Pollard and a late second. PPR Dynasty, Rich.
I am not doing that. Absolutely not doing that. We just talked about Pollard. Running back can be so volatile. All of a sudden, Pollard's out of a job, and you're not getting close to the value. Monty's still getting touches, even with Gibbs there. Had over 20 fantasy points this past week, and you'd be giving up a late first. You wouldn't be getting value back.
I couldn't agree more. I really like Monty. I think the Thunder and Lightning combo in Detroit, they're both very valuable fantasy starts rest of season. And Pollard, as Brian pointed out, is dicey. I'm trying to find the exact Pollard line. If we could, there's probably like a mathematical equation, like the Pollard line or something that we could find and determine just how low the value has steeped down to. But Monty and a 1, I definitely wouldn't lower the pick to go from Monty to Pollard. It's a no-go for me, Sean. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you guys. If there's any question about workload, we saw what both Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs could do in that game against LA, and they seemed to work well together because Monty had got them close to the goal, and then he said, "Hey, Jahmyr, you go take this." So there's not even any strife. This could be the next Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara situation, and I'm sure that's exactly what Dan Campbell wants. So I'm going to hold on to Monty, hold on to that first, and let somebody else go down with the sinking Pollard ship.
This is one situation where if I had both these guys, I would consider starting them both, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Monty and Gibbs, yeah.
I think they both have standalone value, especially if the matchup calls for it. Let's move on to Charlie Monotakis. I traded Jahmyr Gibbs for Pacheco and Tajay Spears in redraft. thoughts?
Oh, the thoughts are, we all know. We saw your face.
Our faces said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough.
I think he
I love
knows
Taiji
it. So you don't ask
Spears,
that
but-
question unless you know that like you did wrong.
If it's Dino, maybe.
Correct.
But not so much in redraft. We love Spears, Brian. We talk about him every
I
single
wouldn't
week
even
on the
do it
waiver
in
show.
Dynasty. Jameer Gibbs has that top 3 upside.
He does.
I like Taiji Spears, but he has that knee thing that,
the ACL thing.
so it's,
I think you'll at least get 1 to 2 solid years out of Spears. So I guess that also depends on, are you chasing a championship, and do you need running back depth? Maybe if it's Dynasty, but the question's redraft, and it's a hard, unquestioned no from all of us here. Gucci TMP, start Fields or Burrow, Mr. Demon?
oh man, this is rough. Oh man, this is really rough. Burrow against the Ravens, man.
Bears play the Lions.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
I'm probably going to start Fields because of the rushing floor. That's really it. If this was a Trevor Lawrence or Burrow, I'm going Burrow. But Fields because of the rushing floor. It's going to be a high scoring game. Should be a high scoring game, maybe. I think I'm going to go Fields.
I do think Burrow has a cozy floor. I don't think Burrow is going to goose you or give you any sort of a less than 12 to 15 points, which is still not great, obviously. But I do feel pretty confident that he'll throw a couple touchdowns, throw in the mid 200s. He's Burrow, right? He'll probably get sacked a couple times, might turn the ball over a couple times, but he's going to put the Bengals in a position to win the game. It'll be competitive. Meanwhile, Fields, this is the ultimate. Are you projected to win? Are you projected to lose? Fields is a moonshot. First game back from an injury, playing a good defense, but could be a huge rushing game. That Bears offense looked like it started clicking right before he went down. And if we see them full force and Fields is just dominating like he was the week prior to his injury, he is the right play. So I would probably, just because of my nature, I'd go Fields just for the upside.
Those of us holding shares of DJ Moore hope that it can get back to that, because he went from like a top 3 wide receiver to just completely ineffective. I'm going to use your strategy here, Kev. And if you have a good, solid lead or projected lead, go Burrow. I'm doing that. I have a redraft league where I am projected to win fairly comfortably. I have both Fields and Burrow. So this is a direct start question for me. But if I need to chase that upside, I think the ceiling, especially with Burrow having a tough matchup Thursday night against a division foe and a very good Ravens defense, you can't hurt going Fields there. So I don't blame you.
Yeah, 100%.
Domo, hey guys, was offered Bijan and Deontay Johnson for David Montgomery and DeAndre Hopkins. Thoughts? Currently 6-4 and worried Gibbs will get more touches. We just talked about the running back share in Detroit. My other running backs are Kamara, Breece, and Swift. That's a nice set of. This is a very good. I'll start with you on this, Kevin. This is a good decision to have to make, I'd say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really like Bijan Robinson. He had a little bit of a breakout last week. Putting any sort of fantasy football shares or trust in the Falcons is so terrifying, given Arthur Smith is the ultimate tiptoeing villain who has a sack of money over his shoulder. He's like the fantasy football, super villain. He really is. And Deontay is inconsistent, man. That floor has cratered so many times this year, coming back from an injury. Montgomery and D-Hop, however, you are upgrading Montgomery to Bijan. I think Bijan has a higher ceiling. Montgomery has a nice floor, but I think Montgomery has a higher ceiling.
Especially a PPR. We're assuming it's some sort of PPR.
Yeah, and D-Hop has great chemistry with Levis, so it's not a horrible move. I don't know if I want to get rid of D-Hop or Monty right now. I'd probably hold the bag, honestly, if it's me, but it's a tough call. I love Bijan, man.
Well, let me reframe this for you guys. So 3 running backs. We're going to assume that he can't start more than 3. Let's say 1 flex and 2 running backs. Giving up a guy like are you going to start Montgomery over Kamara, Breece, or Swift? I'm not sure that I am, unless it's maybe matchup dependent with Swift. So you can get a guy back like Bijan, who you definitely would start over some of these guys with some of these games. And Deontay Johnson, to me, Deontay Johnson and Hopkins are kind of similar. Hopkins had 1 great game and he had 3 touchdowns. If you look at his advanced metrics, he's actually not playing all that well this year. He just had 1 game and he does get a lot of volume. So I kind of like the Bijan side of it, but it's not a slam dunk.
I don't like the Bijan side because, first of all, Rashad White has more fantasy points than Bijan Robinson.
Okay, we don't need to say facts like that. All right, it shouldn't be the case. All right, it's not my fault. There's a supervillain running the Falcons.
Listen, It's the volatility. Montgomery is a home run. I don't care that you have a stacked running back room. You're at 6-4. After this week, you can have no DeAndre Swift and no Kamara, and you're going to be scrambling for a running back. So I think that's a strength. If you have startable running backs, even if they're sitting on your bench, you're not losing anything because you wouldn't be playing Bijan anyway. You would have a stronger running back on your bench. And I think you have a slightly stronger receiver. They're pretty much the same.
Hopkins gives the touchdown upside. I mean, John literally got his first touchdown in like 2 years. So
for that, you're just strengthening a position of strength over what you currently have, and you're getting a slightly better receiver, in my opinion. So Montgomery and D-Hop all the way for me.
So before we go to the next question, I have a Q&A for you guys. Did shaving the villain mustache from Arthur Smith make him a better human being? Because he gave Bijan not only a lot of touches, but some goal line touches as well. Was it the mustache all along?
It's a good question. It's something we should really be asking. It's a question.
Hashtag analysis right here, guys.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to go with no, because I think he looks... He's like almost weirder, almost like a weirder villain.
He looked to me with the mustache. He looked like a Pee-wee's Playhouse mailman or something. He looked so like friendly to me. The superhero. Aiden O'Connell has the worst mustache in football.
Oh yes, he does.
Yeah,
he's like a 13-year-old.
It starts here.
Yeah,
it's a tough look.
It just starts to grow in. He doesn't
like
give it. He thinks he looks cool.
That's flagrant.
Let's move on. Sean Simino again. Look at this, trying to get the question in twice. I always appreciate the tenacity there. Yep. And when it's me who's picking the questions, I don't realize when they're here we go. Gucci TMP again. I traded Pollard first week for Mixons and Mike Evans. I'm so happy. He's just letting us know.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Oh yeah, congrats.
Good job.
That's a huge win. Good job, Gucci.
Big thumbs up on that. Miles to the moon. Keaton, Singletary, or Debo? Rich, we got a Keaton Mitchell question.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I love Devin Singletary this week, especially. So I'm going down.
Can I just say that Kev picked him up after I put him number one on my waiver wire?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, look at us both, Brian. Look at us.
That's right.
I'm a big fan of Devin Singletary this week, so I'm going with that. Keaton Mitchell's fast, but you don't know what his usage is going to be, and he's not going to get the goal line touches. And Debo, it's like hit or miss, man.
It's so volatile.
Yeah.
Debo, any given week could be like a wide receiver 1, but any given week he could be like wide receiver 73. It's the Debo experience. Yeah. And I don't really like that roller coaster. It's not for me. I've never been a huge fan of Debo's in fantasy. He's like, if the Bills gave Gabe Davis running back carries, like that's ultimately how I see it. Maybe a little more athletic, maybe a little more talented, but similar in fantasy. I do think Singletary is the play here. Keaton does have some, roll the dice, boom bust upside, but Singletary feels like he should get a solid workload. So I agree that Singletary is the play here.
So we talked about this in the waiver wire show, but Singletary had half the amount of points that Dameon Pierce has had all year in just a single game. And it wasn't like one big chunk. He was repeatedly the average 5 yards a carry with 30 carries. Like, to me, he's a better fit for that scheme, a better fit for that offense. It's looking like Pierce is still not practicing, so it's looking like Singletary is going to get all the carries again. And guess what? He faces the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, as great as that is on the offense, he doesn't play defense for one of the worst defenses in the league. So this is an easy one for me.
Yeah.
Please don't say take Tajay Spears. Are you guys starring these? Because I don't remember putting.
I didn't star that.
Okay, no, I think Takado found a way to hack on the back end. He's like, I'm just going to make sure my comment gets seen. Here's a question. Cool, Connecticut, DOT, Department of Transportation. Tank Dell or Aaron Jones, Rich?
Tank Dell. I'm not trusting Aaron Jones. That's really all I have to say about it.
Didn't Aaron Jones go off last week? He did finally get back to fantasy relevance. Yes,
relevance. He did go
relevance,
off.
Yeah.
No, the Chargers they're a pretty favorable matchup. They're not anything to write home about on defense. We've already talked about the Texans play the Cardinals. That does have shootout vibes. I think Tank Dell is probably the play too, but I don't particularly. Yeah, Aaron Jones he's been a tough one this year. I'm very okay with smashing Tank Dell and not.
Kev, why don't you do me a favor, unless you already know this, and look up the age of Aaron Jones?
Oh, Brian.
He's 28, isn't he?
Magical 28. I'm telling you.
Guys,
Well, listen, man,
Brian-
Kevin's been
Brian-
chopping Nick Chubb like he's a 22-year-old stud.
I
And he's now
love
coming
Nick
off
Chubb.
2 surgeries.
He'll be fine. I'm telling you right now, there's a certain level of talent that if you have, it transcends. Look at Frank Gore. He
Nick
played until he
Chubb,
was 36.
Okay, and
Adam
he was
Thielen.
averaging 3.3 yards per carry.
That's fair. He was still
Nick
fantasy
Chubb,
relevant,
Adam
though.
Thielen, and the 3rd rounder for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Rashad White. That's what
That
he
was
offered me.
a bad trade. I didn't know it until you showed me the.
Amon-Ra is in a good home with me now, Rich.
That's
It's all
true.
good. It's all
That's
good.
it worked
I'm
out. how
coming
it's
for all
supposed
you
to.
guys, though. Don't sleep on
Cancel
anything.
everybody. Cancel all of our trades. We are all degenerates.
Yeah, I'm incomplete. I mean, obviously, I'm a Tank Dell guy, and I also own Aaron Jones in one of my dynasty leagues. I've been disappointed. Had a great first game, but that was really mostly in the pass game, and he scored a huge receiving touchdown. He has not been very effective as a runner. He has that unfortunate age 28 coming off that major hamstring injury, and even with a great matchup. And Tank Dell, no Noah Brown, Nico Collins coming back, but against a very bad Cardinals secondary, and Dell is legit. We talked about 13 targets a game, guys. To me, this is a no-brainer. Go Tank Dell all day long. Michael McFarland, do I start Trevor Lawrence despite him playing like crap, or do I start Geno Smith full PPR, which shouldn't matter unless you think they're going to catch some passes? But Kevin, let's start with you on this one. Trev or Geno?
I still appreciate Michael for giving us the format because people don't do that very
You're
often.
right. You know what? I take it back, Michael, because I'm constantly critiquing people for not giving us any context. You gave us context, not relevant, but thank you. Kudos to you.
We appreciate it. So yeah, Geno, he hasn't been that much better. I mean, the two of them have been, two of the bigger disappointments in the quarterback room for fantasy football this year. Seahawks play the Rams, and the Jaguars play the Titans.
Yes,
so I feel like
at home in Jacksonville.
I feel like given it's a division game, and Mike Vrabel is coaching that defense pretty strong, Trevor Lawrence is just doing what he needs to do. He's not exactly playing bad real life football. He's just been bad in fantasy. The Jaguars are winning games. Despite
he played bad real football against the Niners, but it was the Niners.
That's the Niners. So I think I'm inclined to stick with Trevor for another week. I keep waiting for the Geno lid to come off, and it's not coming off. I'm almost entirely out on Geno, unfortunately, unless it's like a really plus matchup. And even then,
I realized something. Baker's having maybe the best year of his career.
Yeah.
Geno kind of reverted to the Geno we always knew. And there is one key difference there. Dave Canales, who was the quarterback's coach in Seattle, is now the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay.
The quarterback whisperer. I like the narrative.
This is what it came down to. I mean, one guy gets worse, one guy gets better. I think we've already seen Geno's ceiling is my point.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I don't think I would start Trevor Lawrence. I don't know that there's going to be much of a point discrepancy between the two. So if you start Geno, I don't think it's going to matter too much. But I would go Lawrence if I'm choosing between the two.
I agree.
Same at this point. I know Lawrence has not been what we all thought he would be. I think a lot of it actually is play calling. They're not really targeting Calvin Ridley most games, which is weird.
No. Yeah.
Because you know what? We saw training camp. He's still Calvin Ridley. Like, get him involved. But Geno, his ceiling is literally, we've seen it. Like, he's not going to have monster games like he did last season. So Trevor gives you about the same floor with a higher ceiling.
Yeah, Geno did have a great game last week against Washington. We should stipulate that. Like,
in the second half, it was like when he was
easy to pass against. Though.
But if we look at his upcoming matchups, we're looking at Rams 13th ranked against quarterbacks, Niners 30th ranked against quarterbacks, Cowboys 23rd ranked against quarterbacks, Niners again 30th ranked against quarterbacks. We've seen what they've been doing. I think Geno is if your trade deadline hasn't passed, if you can go kick the tires on somebody, I don't know how much. I mean, maybe off his big game you could flip him, but I don't think you want.
I don't think anybody's buying Carroll at this point.
In a close, this might be a close game. If it's a close game, Pete Carroll might just run the ball.
Yeah, honestly.
Remy, diehard Giants fan. I'm sorry for you, Remy.
Very sorry.
Stroud. Oh, this is a question that I love. Yeah. Stroud or Mahomes? There's a second question, but I want to just start with this, Rich.
Man, I am at the point where I would probably say start Stroud over Mahomes. I am that high on CJ Stroud. I really am. I know you can pass against the Eagles.
Both are but Stroud is playing the Cardinals. They both have juicy matchups here.
Yeah. So I might be at that point. Stroud is just doing it, Kev. Don't shake your little head at me.
I love Stroud. He's my dynasty guy, man. I've been talking to Brian.
I've been trying to get him from you too.
I predicted that the Texans would be good this year, and I was Call the madman.
You did.
I
predicted the Falcons would be good, and I regret that immensely.
I mean, they are still.
I
good,
underestimated the Arthur Smith effect.
Yeah,
we've seen Mahomes struggle this year. He's going to get pressured by the Eagles. He doesn't have that fall guy other than Travis Kelce. He doesn't have receivers that he can trust, and I think he's starting to not trust them. So I think he's being a little more hesitant with his passes. So I just feel I'm just going to ride the hot hand right now.
I don't hate it at all. It's very much like a gut check. Like that's kind of like that's a for the moon play. You're going for the glory there. If you start Stroud over Mahomes, I have nothing. I don't have any issue with that, Demon. I respect you very much for your stones. Me personally,
I don't think it's a risky play, to be honest.
It's not. Risky.
That's why it's a nice question.
Yeah.
It's not risky because he'll have a good game, but I mean, Mahomes. I'm starting in one of my dynasty leagues. I'm starting Stroud over Allen, and that was a difficult place for me to get to because I love Allen, but he's playing the Jets. But Mahomes doesn't have a bad matchup, so it's like Stroud could be QB1 for sure.
Defensive line wise, yeah, he does.
That's true,
but he's going to be running all over the place, and
more yards to throw for, bro.
But when he doesn't have a guy that he trusts, that's what I'm saying. Is he's been hesitating.
Tough.
He's been hesitating.
He hasn't been.
He hasn't looked great. I mean, he hasn't looked like Patrick Mahomes of the past. So I think Stroud's actually the safer play.
I'm not at all mad at it. I like to dance with the girl that brought me. That's my Mahomes thing.
Why is she bringing you? I'm not picking her up.
What do they call those dances where the girl invites the guy?
It's one of those. It's progressive. But you know,
his girl is French, so
exactly. You know, we're respecting culture over here. But I do think Mahomes, just against Philly, and he's Mahomes. It's just it would feel weird seeing him on the bench.
I'm actually with you. I do not blame anyone for wanting to start Stroud here. It would make perfect sense. I can't bench Mahomes. I just can't bench Mahomes at this point. He's not playing dreadful. He's just playing at a B+ A- instead of the A+ that we're used to. I can't bench him, especially when he has such a good matchup. And I think they're going to have to score points. I think this Philly game could be a really juicy Monday Night Football shootout. So I'm going to go Mahomes. Let's go to the second question, Kev. We'll start with you on this. Gus Edwards or your boy, Baby James Cook?
Let me guess. Let me say. Can I guess what you're going to pick here?
You know, it's tough. I think the Bills offense are going to get, I do genuinely believe, despite how good the Jets defense is, I don't think the Bills offense is going to get on track by any means, but I do think they're going to get a little just fired your OC spike. Joe Brady showed up to his introductory press conference with a Buffalo versus everybody hoodie. I think Buffalo's been missing that kind of swagger.
That's all the facts and evidence we need, Rich.
What did we say? Hashtag analysis. Am I right? Mustaches and hoodies.
Don't even bother watching the game, Rich. Your Jets are going to get crushed because
mustaches and hoodies.
Oh my God! I don't make a different T-shirt now.
I don't think it'll be a big enough difference to start James Cook against a really good Jets front four and linebacking core and secondary and entire defense. Gus Edwards, to me, in this particular matchup, does have a lower ceiling because I think the game projects to be one that not necessarily a shootout, but one that the Ravens will have to throw in the whole game. I don't think this will be the kind of game where you can give Gus, 25 carries and hope he falls into the end zone twice. So I think I'm gonna still stick with Gus, but I think I don't feel great about either.
Yeah, I don't feel great about either. And my issue with James Cook is, right, you saw at the beginning of that game last week, he fumbled, they took him out, he sat out for a while. When he had that long run toward the end of the game, he dropped it and it just happened to bounce back up into his chest again. So, he might be getting in his head a little bit. I don't know. I mean, Gus Edwards is way more likely to get in the end zone. So it's pretty easy for me as Gus Edwards.
That's a fact.
I don't love it, but the guy who's going to get into the end zone more and has less of a chance of getting pulled. I mean, James Cook drops the ball once. He's gone. He's done the whole game.
Honestly.
And Lenny playing? Leonard Fournette?
We keep waiting for him to be active. He hasn't been active.
They still have Murray. They have Latavius Murray.
Murray's been playing extremely well in that role. So, I mean, it's tough to say.
Yeah. This is an icky decision. I know you guys already said that, but I don't love either of these. I have shares of these guys in various leagues. I don't know, James Cook passing upside, if I have to pick something, especially if it's PPR, but I don't feel good about it. I'll go Baby Cook, but like I said, it's a razor-thin margin. Arturo Orta, Rashee Rice, or Calvin Ridley, Kev?
Yeah, I've already kind of sung my praises for Rashee Rice on this episode, so I'm going to just bang that drum. Calvin Ridley is probably, unfortunately, going to go down as one of the more disappointing fantasy players this year. His draft hype got so disproportionate to what we, should have expected for a guy coming back from sitting out a year.
We've seen it. He's had a couple games where he has looked like, oh, that's Calvin Ridley. So we know it's still there. I mentioned earlier, it's scheme. They're not looking his way. It's very strange.
And the Titans, they're very good defensively. They're very well coached. I think that game is going to be tighter than we think. And I think that the most likely way that the Jags will attack them is through Travis Etienne. So I'm inclined to say Rashee Rice in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to say Rashee Rice for the same reason I said earlier. I mean, he does have that. He does have that opportunity to maybe get 2 touchdowns. I feel like this could have shootout potential. And Calvin Ridley is just not somebody you can trust. Not that Rashee Rice is somebody you can trust right now, but also it's Patrick Mahomes or Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going Mahomes, even though I did pick CJ Stroud over him before, but still.
Right.
Well, and you didn't say it's Mahomes sucks, but it's just it's a preference choice. Preference choice. That's a little redundant. Rashee Rice, he may not be able to be counted on, but he's able to be counted on more than any of the other receivers outside of Travis Kelce in that Chiefs offense. We mentioned they're going to have to score points to stay ahead of Philadelphia, and Ridley, for whatever reason, is just not getting the ball enough. So I'm going to agree with both of you. I do think Rashee Rice is the play here. Brent Leslie, here's a fun one. Trade question. Mixon, AJ Brown, and Gibbs. These are some huge names for Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, and Alvin Kamara. Rich, we'll start with you on this. We're going to have to dissect because these are some mega names.
Yeah. So I don't know that I'm trading AJ Brown even for Jay Jettas right now. I don't know that I would do that. The way Gibbs is playing, I don't know that I would trade him for Kamara. And the only one here that I would look at is JT over Mixon. Yeah. So I kind of like the AJ Brown and Gibbs side here. Mr. Brent, I'll tell you what, I'm not crazy about Mixon. That's the only thing. So you're trading 2 guys that I love and a guy that I don't love for 3 guys that I love. So yeah, if you're looking at it that way, I think I would probably do that.
I would love to know league type.
Yeah.
Because if this is PPR, then you should break your thumb pressing accept.
Yeah.
If it's not, then it's dicier, right? So you, Demon, your official vote was which side?
I'm taking the Jay Jettas, JT, and Kamara.
I
like the 3 of them better than the 3 of the other guys.
It's really an asset liquidation thing because you are turning AJ Brown into Jay Jettas, which is, relatively neutral. Josh Dobbs might make that more questionable, but not so far.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and then
he boosted TJ Hawkinson's value, so he was already number 2 tight end. Now he's number 1.
And then Gibbs for JT is a pretty even swap, and then Mixon to Kamara is a huge upgrade, especially in PPR, which Brent has confirmed. It's PPR. Brent, go get yourself a cast for your thumb because you're smashing accept so hard. You got to do it.
Love the Kevinisms.
Gotta do it.
Just comes to him naturally.
It's go time.
Can you just buy a cast and put it on your thumb, or does it have to be applied by a doctor?
Official medical personnel only, please. I mean, I'm with you guys, and I think it's the reasons you laid out, especially you, Rich, is that most of the guys there's not a huge difference, but the one part there's a difference is Jonathan Taylor over Joe Mixon, especially what we saw. JT is back, guys. If there's any question, Moss got almost no opportunities last week, and I think that's how Indy wants it going forward. All right,
he burned bright. He
did burn bright. Wow, nobody, league winner, or at least somebody getting somebody in the playoffs that might not have otherwise gotten just because he got so many wins.
Mad respect.
Brian J on Facebook, better flex in PPR, Gus Edwards or Tank Dell? I can't decide, Rich.
This is Tank Dell easily. In PPR, most of the time you're going receiver unless it's a back,
unless
like
it's
Kamara
a CMC or Kamara. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rashad White, Brian.
You just can't stop mentioning Rashad White. I get it. Fine.
None of us love Gus tonight anyway. Gus is kind of like a take your medicine start to me tonight.
He's touchdown upside more than anything.
And he could fall into the end zone twice.
He's been doing it.
Yeah.
He's their goal line back. And with a good offense like Baltimore, that can always lead to points. But I don't like relying on touchdown upside unless I have to. I want to rely on the guy who's getting 13, 14 targets a game and a high-flying Houston Texan offense with the talent to boost. Tank Dell is a no-brainer here.
He does have something. He does kind of have touchdown upside. I mean, you never know in that offense.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
The ceiling
yeah.
is there too. He's got
Yeah.
a better floor and a better ceiling.
Yeah.
Dell is like a top 15 wide receiver over the past 3 to 4 weeks. So this isn't a
Madness.
guy who's like getting here and there. No, he is a consistent top performer, and I think that just continues, especially with Stroud playing the way he does.
Brent Leslie said he accepted that trade last night with a
Let's
laughing face.
go.
So he already broke his thumb,
Congrats.
Kevin. Hopefully he
Nice.
went out and bought that cast.
So
Hey,
his thumb,
hey,
so his
get
thumb's
well soon.
broken. He just
Get well-
wanted us to tell him how great a job he did,
Yeah.
and we're here to do that and make you feel better.
Get
Kyle
well soon.
Ridenour wasn't that the dude who shot people?
Close.
No, it's Rittenhouse.
Very close.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Just making sure. I
He's
mean, not
welcome
hey,
here.
maybe he has fantasy questions too. I don't know. Interesting one for you, Kev, because you've been trying to sell this guy
And telling
in
us
our
all how
dynasty,
awesome
and
he is
telling him
going
how
to be for the
amazing
next
he is.
10 years.
33-year-old Adam
Yeah.
Thielen or Amari Cooper with DTR at quarterback. Kevin, I'll let you start with this one.
Yeah, and I appreciate you highlighting the DTR discourse. Amari Cooper does kind of make, Browns receivers, I think, take a huge hit rest of season. Let's be real. Watson wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire, but he did do a competent enough job finding his weapons.
Cooper in
Elijah
particular, they had a
Moore-
really good. I mean, Cooper was consistently producing with Watson at quarterback.
And Njoku and Moore was starting to become fantasy relevant. Kind of pours a little bit of cold water on that. Meanwhile, Thielen with the Panthers, I believe they're playing the Cowboys, which, the Panthers project to be down big in that game. And if they're throwing down big the whole game, the PPR machine, Adam Thielen, should probably go. I mean, his lines all season have been along the lines of, 7 for 56. Like, he's been putting up those kind of stat lines all year. I would be shocked if he had anything less than 6 receptions for 50 yards. And if anybody has a chance on the Panthers to have a touchdown, it's him. So Thielen is pretty handedly, pretty easily for me.
I don't know that it's that easy because Amari Cooper could still get targeted heavily. I just don't know that the ball's going to actually be catchable.
Yeah.
That's the only
He can get
thing.
20 targets
Yeah.
and the ball doesn't actually go to him. Who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd feel safer with Thielen. I would probably start Thielen.
Yeah, I put it because Kevin in our public chat in our Dynasty League put up that he wanted a first for Thielen
I do.
in the public chat, so I had to then show
did.
Thielen's last 3 to 4 weeks.
He
and
did.
This
Brian
public
is-
chat should
Brian
be
is the Samaritan
it's
of-
so, it's so
yeah.
Brian's got graphs ready to go.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
every
Or
situation.
graphs,
Charts on
charts. Don't even think about getting it, trying to negotiate a trade in public around.
Don't.
Brian McFadden.
Hey, that is your fault for you put it in the public discourse. You're going to receive the public discourse.
This
That's all
man
I'm saying.
justified Adrian Ravito, who I love. He's my brother. He offered me Tyler Conklin for freaking Nick Chubb.
No, he didn't. You're leaving important pieces
yeah,
out
you
of
are.
that.
Kevin, you're now
was
I know
offended.
that you think Brian was right because you're flubbing the story.
I
a
was
little
He
bit.
is
offended.
leaving the
Yeah.
most important facts out of the
Yeah.
question.
I was
Right?
offended
Fake
regardless.
News. Fake news.
Fake news. Yeah. No.
That's what they do up there in Buffalo. Apparently,
It's true. They do. But a second and a fourth. It was Chubb and a fourth for Conklin and a second.
I think it
To
was
me,
a third.
It doesn't
No, it
make
was
it
a
much
fourth.
better.
There was a fourth.
yeah,
Doesn't
but
make it much
essentially
better.
it was a second for Chubb, a 28-year-old running back coming off 2 surgeries. That's fair, and it was this year's second.
Yeah.
It wasn't like 2025 or 2026.
Yeah,
it was a
that's more than-
2024
that's
second.
more than fair.
I thought that was fair value.
I'm not coming off the Chubb is not dead. I don't think Chubb is dead.
Well, then you see that now. That's the thing is you're valuing him higher because
Yeah,
you're
100%.
taking the
Personal
question
value.
mark. That's 20.
I believe in
but
him.
It was a
I'm-
fair trade. It was a fair.
I'm going to
offer.
bet on the charts, Kev. We might even come up with a wager for next year. The charts versus your personal preference.
We need somebody. We need to pay somebody to go through every single podcast and find all of our bets that we've made, Brian, because we've been
never
doing
actually
this since
have.
the beginning.
I'll be
We-
honest, Kev. I probably wouldn't have taken that trade, but I thought it
Thank
was
you.
fair.
That's
I thought
all
it
I'm
was fair.
saying.
Just because I know Chubb and if Chubb can come back the way we've
It
seen
might
other
not
running
have
backs come
been-
back, then he can at least be effective next year.
It might not have been public lashing bad, but it was bad enough that I wanted to.
And I think that was my problem is I don't think I would have accepted it either.
Yeah.
But you made it seem like it was the worst trade offer in history. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's
Oh, I've already
fair
sent the worst trade
value.
offer in history. I got that secured, so no worries.
Okay.
Demon,
Okay.
Demon,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
I want to hear about that before we sign up, but we got a lot more questions to get
Yeah.
to. Evan Quintana, start Dak or Herbert? Rich.
I am starting Dak over Herbert. Herbert's been kind of volatile, and Dak has apparently found CeeDee Lamb. He's
Yeah.
Mike,
yeah, that
I think-
guy's good. Maybe I should throw him the ball.
Well, I think Mike McCarthy has discovered that he can't run the ball the way he wants to. So now they're just going to have to pass. And I think the pass volume is going to be there for Dak.
I'm with Demon 100%. I like Herbert just fine. Packers aren't the best matchup, but I think Dak against Carolina. Demon actually really, there's one guiding principle that Demon has instilled in me, and that's when Dallas is favored, they're going to want to win by 30 or 40 points.
Yeah.
So they're not taking their foot off the gas. So 100% doesn't matter if the Cowboys are in a boat racing game script. They absolutely are eligible for your lineup. You don't have to be afraid of, Dallas taking their foot off the gas.
Yeah, I don't. These are actually pretty even for me. Dak, like I mentioned earlier, Panthers have such a bad run defense, but the Cowboys haven't been running the ball well. They have actually a very solid pass defense. Is one of those things that funnels, like which one? But Dak has been playing so well lately. And like you said, McCarthy is so committed to the pass that he's going to get opportunities. But Herbert just had one of his best games of the season. Keenan Allen injured his shoulder. Is he going to play?
Tough.
Dak is probably the safer bet. So
Yeah.
it's tight, like 55-45 to me, going on Dak.
Yeah.
Kyle Singer, full PPR, pick 2. Running back 1, wide receiver. Give us a lineup, and when we love that, give us all the context,
I love this.
guys, and it really helps us
Pick
make
2
the
running
decision.
backs,
2 running backs,
receiver,
1 wide receiver, 1
flex.
flex, 1 tight end.
All right, Kev, we'll let you start with this one. We got Alexander Madison, Jerome Ford, Keaton Mitchell, Royce Freeman, Kenneth Gainwell. It's the complete opposite of some of these other lineups that were just stacked. These are like some yucky choices here.
My man's in a 20-team
Gabe
league
Davis,
right
Brandon Cooks / McBride and Fergie. I'm guessing that is Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson. I'll probably start with, you'd think that
Are we calling him Fergie? Is somebody?
I'm cool with Fergie.
I like that. Yeah.
I can dig it.
I mean, I guess I knew who it meant, so
Yeah.
it's fitting nickname.
I'm having a hard time with the tight end because I want to just smash McBride, but Ferguson's been damn consistent, and we just talked about how good Dak's been. So I will go with McBride just because of upside. For wide receivers, we only need 1, so I'll go with locking in Boyd. I like Boyd's matchup tonight. The flex, it's not easy, but because I love Gabe Davis, I love the weekly dice roll for a touchdown, even though I think he's a garbage wide receiver too. I'm so ready to see the Bills move on from him. Sorry, Gabe. Love you as a guy. You're a good captain, but not a good receiver. Cooks will be my flex, and then my 2 running backs. I'll go with Ford. Madison's health is up in the air. I'm hearing whispers he might not start. So I'll go with Ford and Mitchell for the home run swing. There.
I hope this is like a 16-team league.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a little rough.
I had something to say, but Kev picked exactly who I would have picked. If Madison is playing, I'm starting Madison over Mitchell. But other than that, I'm doing exactly what Kev said.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Did you guys see how much better Ty Chandler looked than Alexander Madison last week? I
Exactly.
think the Vikings coaches saw that too. Madison going through concussion protocol. Oh, look, we're going to be cautious and hold you out a little bit. AKA, they're going to give Chandler a lot of looks. And even if Madison is active, I don't know. I think the Ravens are finally going to give Mitchell some touches in a big game like this. That explosiveness, you want to see what he can do. You're giving them the ball 4 times last game, and he busted out 66 yards. Give this guy the football more. Otherwise, I agree with you. Although the McBride thing is actually an easy choice for me. I know that Ferguson has been very steady, but he just had the first tight end for the Cardinals in like 20 years to go over 100 yards. Like that is not a small thing.
Stud.
Already has amazing chemistry with Kyler McMurray. So that is Kyler Murray. I'm all over the place tonight. But so yeah, McBride to me is the easiest decision in this. Mahomes or Dak start this week, Mr. Demon?
This one's Mahomes. This one's Mahomes for me.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I don't hate the Dak start.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like we've seen with as I talked about the Cowboys not taking their foot off the gas, even if they're beating a team. We saw that's why people would argue over whether or not Dak is a top 5 quarterback for so long, which we know he's not, but because they would tend to do that. They would just inflate his stats. Yeah. So they're continuing to do that. But I mean, it's Mahomes or Dak Prescott. I'm in that situation. I'm going Mahomes 10 times out of 10.
Is it bad that I'm more tempted to bench Mahomes for Dak than I was for Stroud?
Yes.
Is that bad?
Yes.
Okay. I still think I'll go with Mahomes, but I'm more tempted than I was in the Stroud question. Might just be.
He's also, like I've mentioned multiple times, playing a good second. This is not the Giants. I'm not saying Dak won't have a decent game and get opportunities, but has a much tougher test this week, whereas Mahomes, we've talked multiple times about that Eagles secondary. To me, this is an easy decision where the Stroud one made us think.
Yeah.
Jordan Vander Weist. Should I start both Eagles wide receivers or Laporta and Ferguson? So basically, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown or 2 tight ends, full PPR. He's 9-1, but he needs this win against a sibling. Oh, we got some rivalry going on here. Kev, your thoughts on this one?
I might get cute, right? Like we always say, don't get cute. I might get cute here. You presented us with 2 2-packs. I might take one from one 2-pack.
Yeah, I was just thinking, why can't we put AJ Brown and
Laporta? Yeah, lock it up. I respect the creativity of the question, and I like the little you package the guys, but Laporta and Brown would be my top 2 out of that, and then I would probably rank them Smith and Ferguson 3 and 4. But if I can start Laporta and Brown, I want to start Laporta and Brown.
Yeah, if I can start Laporta and Brown, I'm doing that. If for some reason it's either or, I'm starting the AJ Brown and Devonta Smith side, because the tight end is hurt, Goddard's hurt. So and I've been saying I think we're going to see an uptick in Devonta Smith's targets as we get later in the season, especially in big games.
Definitely.
I just want to shout out that he's 9-1 and he needs this win.
He does
against a sibling. Good for you, man. Go get that win.
Win over your brother puts you at double digits.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Come back in next week and tell us that whether or not you won. Tyler Beers, Tank Dell, or Christian Kirk, Rich?
Oh man, this is pretty. I'm going Tank Dell because of the quarterback situation. That's cut and dry for me.
I think it's the same for me. I
thought
Tank
Kevin
Dell.
wasn't going to say anything.
No, I mean, Demon did such a good job. I think I like Tank Dell. Kirk is, the Jags in general have been dicey, so I think I like Dell.
Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Dell. There's not a ton of receivers I'm starting over Tank Dell right now. Especially with that Cardinals matchup. I'm going to ride that huge wave as far as it'll take me. Jake Torres, hey guys,
really
if you don't
quick,
mind answering my question. 2
minutes left, and I want to make sure we get to Justin's super chat. Just came up, Brian. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to.
But you did it anyway. But it's okay for a super chat. You can always interrupt for a super chat.
Don't fight.
Yeah, right. Hold me back. All
right, Justin Ziegler, thank you for doing the super chat. By the way, guys, use this if you really want to get your question answered. One of us is going to pull it up.
2 minutes left
right in the middle of me talking too. At this point, should I no longer accept trade offers for Justin Jefferson? If I do want to take offers, who should I go for? For reference, I'm 7-3. We'll start with you, Damon.
I'm always open to listening to offers, and if somebody's
listen to offers.
If somebody's willing to overpay, then And I mean, as far as who should you go for, I mean, I would want like a CD Lamb plus something. Like I would want a hefty payment for Justin Jefferson. So,
yeah, CD plus, an AJ Brown plus. We saw earlier that was the one that got floated, and we all. We did pick the Jetta side. So if you can sweeten the pot enough, maybe throw in couple firsts even. J. Jeff is that kind of name that really, I mean, if you could go get Jamar Chase, right? That might be the only guy that I would trade him straight up
and maybe like a Jalen Warren or like, startable running back.
Rashad White.
Now Kevin's mentioning Rashad White. Come on.
I'm in on it now. It's a good one. It's a good bit.
By the way, I have him in a redraft. I'm starting Rashad White every week. I'm not
very good.
I'm not crazy.
Very good.
I'm bought in. I've given in. I'm come to the dark side. All
Thank you.
You still believe in Jordan Love? Or go ahead.
He's looked good. He's looked better. You can't say he hasn't, and now we'll see if he keeps it up.
Good night, guys.
Do you guys want to end? We got to get to the question Brian pulled up. I can't.
We got to get to the question.
Right, we only have like 2 questions left, and then I want to hear about this trade offer, and then we'll close out the show.
My live show doesn't start till 8:15, so I'm not going.
We've got some time. We've got a little bit of buffer. Jake Torres mentioned earlier choice to pick 2 in a PPR league, and he said if you don't mind answering. Kevin interrupted me, but this is like the most polite question.
I'm so sorry.
Question in the world.
Hey, I see the money, and I jump on it.
Choice to that's the real motivation. That's why you got to do the super chat.
That's right.
Choice to pick 2 in a PPR league. We got Keaton Mitchell, Isaiah Pacheco versus the Eagles, or Noah Brown, also Dobbs or Lamar. So we'll start with the choice to pick 2. So we got Mitchell, Pacheco, Noah Brown. Now, if Brown's injured, that's kind of an easy choice, but let's assume he's active, Rich.
Okay, we're picking 2. So when he says Lamar, is he talking about Lamar Jackson?
No, we're going to come to that. That's also.
Okay.
So
sorry
pick 2 between Keaton Mitchell, Isaiah Pacheco, and Noah Brown.
So if Noah Brown is playing, I'm going Noah Brown, and I'm going Keaton Mitchell for the home run hit.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Same.
you agreeing with that? All
Same,
right.
100%.
So let's get into the quarterback question. Kev, we'll let you do this one first. Josh Dobbs or Lamar Jackson? Vikings play the Broncos on Sunday night. Lamar plays in about 15 minutes, so we better answer quickly.
It's kind of a ridiculous question because you would never think that this would get asked at the start of the season, or even when Josh Dobbs got benched in Arizona. But here we are. He looks like a magician in Minnesota. It's easy for me because of how outstanding Denver's defense has been playing as of late. It's a sweeping Lamar Jackson for the floor, for the safety of it.
Yeah, Lamar. I'm going.
Yeah,
Lamar.
I love the Dobbs story, but come on, Lamar. Let's not get cute. This is a not get cute.
Get cute, right? Don't get cute this time.
Don't get cute.
Sorry, I was doing it.
Look at us.
Let me do the job.
Look at us.
I saw it. Everybody's like, money. Let's
Those are
pull it
both
up.
good.
Carter
Those
Ferris,
are both good.
what's up?
Carter
man.
Ferris 07. Thank you for using the super chat. Stroud versus Arizona or he gave us the matchups. See, this is what you get. Give us
He's
make
the
it
GOAT.
easy for us.
And
Stroud
give
versus
him money.
Arizona or Goff versus Chicago. Tough choices, Rich.
Yeah, these are tough choices. I don't think you can lose either way. I would probably go. I love Stroud versus Arizona, but because of the divisional matchup, I mean, the Lions might just look to pour it on Chicago. That's one thing that I'm thinking might be. I can't sit CJ Stroud though. I can't.
Thank you.
I'm going CJ Stroud.
Yes, you got to start Stroud, and also let's not forget Detroit's running backs are cashing in all their touchdowns.
Yeah, they are.
It's dicey to start Goff because he might throw for 360 and one.
Yeah,
because Monty is the bulldozer, and if they're within 20 yards, Gibbs is going to have a chance at taking a sweep in. So I think it's Stroud for sure.
Quick counterpoint, and I'll start by saying it's Stroud for me too. But I think this Lions Chicago game could be big score. We just saw the Lions defense get shredded by the Chargers. You got Justin Fields coming back, divisional game. So it could just be Goff just getting opportunities where the Texans could just ride Singletary all game. So putting that out there. But otherwise, I'm agreeing with you guys. All right, we got two questions I want to get to. We'll get to the offer and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah. And you guys stick around on Demon's channel for his live show for Thursday Night Football. So let's go. Dak or CJ Stroud rest of season, Kevin?
Oh, that's so
no
damn
start
hard.
sits. I just want to put a guy in. Stephen Parker over on Facebook.
It's not that hard, Stephen Parker.
It's not that hard to Demon because he is in love with CJ Stroud.
I am in love with
too.
Apparently, you're in love with Dak Prescott.
I'm the resident CJ Stroud truther. This is making
Thank
me
you,
so
Brian.
mad.
I love when Brian's here.
But I think it might. Yeah, I gotta go CJ Stroud. It's upside. Upside.
CJ Stroud. That's
upside.
It. You see that? You see the
CJ
force?
Stroud.
Yeah. That was fire. Yeah.
Dak's not going to keep this up. CJ Stroud is incredible.
Stroud.
All right, last question. Would you start Kenneth Walker or Javonte Williams, Rich?
Ooh, I'm really loving Javonte Williams, man.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker, the way he got into the end zone was on a 60-some-odd yard pass.
64-yard.
Yeah, they're giving Charbonnet pass. What's his
3
name?
games in a row. Charbonnet more running back.
It's that Cabernet guy.
So I don't. I'm actually starting.
Charbonnet's
I'm actually starting Singletary over K9 this week.
There you go.
So that's how I feel.
Javonte all day for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap it up hearing about this.
Go ahead, Demon.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Kevin, Josh Allen, top 5 quarterback, because we talked about this last week. You were so adamant when I said it. I don't know. He was like,
tail between my legs. I'll say yes.
Allen, my goodness.
I really think he's a top 5 quarterback. I mean, if you say the 5 that are ahead of him, I'll
not definitively.
I think definitively, personally.
I would still definitively.
I don't judge
maybe
you.
At
well,
5,
you're both very wrong. You're both very wrong. So this trade.
Yes, it was bad. I will admit.
I mentioned it before. He sends me. It's not only that the trade was bad; it's what came after the trade. So
that was the bad part.
Picture for him. He sends me this trade, and it's Amon-Ra St. Brown from my side and Rashad White, and he's sending me Nick Chubb, Adam Thielen, and the 3rd rounder, and I reject it right away. And he goes and he sends me a message, and I think he's kidding, and he's like, "Seriously, like I'm a little confused." LOL.
I was
like, "Oh, are you, Kevin? Yeah, are you confused?"
Because I tried to tell him, oh, I came at you with
tries to shame you passively.
I got accused of starting with low balls, so I was like, I started with a good offer here.
My response was, "Are you, Kevin? You're really that's confusing to you?" And he's like, "No, seriously, honestly, because
I was
talking about." And then he starts giving me Adam Thielen stats, and Nick Chubb is this and that, and I'm like, Kevin. I think my response was just like, Kevin.
It was, and I was so confused. I was like, I thought we were breaking up. I was like, is this the end of our? You're my trade partner, Demon. Like, what are you doing to me?
I don't get mad, but one of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody starts telling me what I need and why this is such a good deal. And I'm just like, somebody else in our league did it, and I was sarcastic. He doesn't really know me, and I said, listen, I'm just sarcastic. Don't take anything I'm saying seriously. But I was like, I am well aware of who these players are and what I need on my team, just to let you know.
We're all in a dynasty league built around an NFL media company. I think we know a thing or two about NFL. So
that's
all right.
great.
Let's wrap it up there. It is 8:07 on the East Coast, 5:07 here on the West Coast, which means the game is starting soon. Make sure to stay or head over to Pro Football Demons channel because he's going to be live streaming the game, the big NFC North matchup between the Ravens and the Bengals. On behalf of Rich, the Pro Football Demon, and Kevin Phillip, the Buffalo Trio, I'm Brian McFadden, co-founder of Legit Football. Are you guys going to do a show next week, Thanksgiving? I'm going to be in Mexico, but I
want to do a Wednesday show?
I don't think I can, man. Wednesday, I have family coming in. I got to go to the airport.
So we might have a week off.
Yeah.
Let's do that. All right. Everybody enjoy a week off.
We'll miss you all.
Yeah, we will.
Hey, text us. Hey, tweet us at the Buffalo Trill if you have any fantasy questions, at the Pro Football Demon.
Hey, look, I'll be live though on Friday for the Jets game. So if you have any fantasy questions, and you guys are always welcome. Anytime you want to, if you have 10 minutes and you want to pop in and just say hi to everybody, you're always welcome. I even have a different graphic that I will change just to fit us all on screen like that. So
hell yeah.
That might be arranged.
It's a beautiful thing.
Wait. Dolphins Jets. Oh, I have
Dolphins
to come on.
Dolphins Jets on Friday. Yeah,
I have to come on.
Live.
Okay, maybe we'll do a duel, like dueling pianos. Let's talk, Rich. All right,
let me know, man.
Stay tuned for his show next Friday. Maybe I'll be on that.
And Kevin can come on and just mock both of us.
Hell yeah.
That's true.
Whoever loses, I'll just
over on the Legit Football YouTube, we do the Waiver Wire show every Tuesday. It's just going to be Kevin this week because I will be in Cancun, but it's at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, just the top 10 Waiver Wire picks. Guys, thanks for coming in, for getting in the chat. This is it doesn't. No. You guys think I'm just going to stay
will come back 10.
He bought the ticket once Rhett started picking on him for his
I did. I did. He's like, does this guy come out at during the daytime, or is he like
show him.
This is me, guys. Get used to it.
Too much fun. This is
Irish.
All right, enjoy the Thursday night football game. I hope you all win your matchups, and we will see you next time on the